Welcome back, everybody, to week 2 of our Arts for Lawrence Summer Camp. I'm Sam, your camp instructor, and today we're going to be making face pinch pots. So last week was super awesome. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well, and I'm looking forward to another great week. This week, our theme is nature and just being inspired by all the amazing things in the world around us with all of our projects this week. So just a reminder, if you didn't see the note on our agenda, make sure you're looking out when you're outside for any kind of leaves and collecting a few leaves to use for your project on Friday. So you don't need very many. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I would say just a handful, enough that will give you some creative freedom when it comes time to actually putting your artistic skills in action. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on what you'll need today. I have my little cup with some water. We're going to be using it a little bit differently than we used last week. You don't need much, but just enough to get your fingertips wet. I have my random bag, and I'll explain why in a bit. Pencil, again, not for our usual use like last week, but still might come in handy. And then my 2 packets of clay, which I'm not going to open until I'm ready to use them. All right, so before we get started on our actual project, I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about clay. Who would have thought clay could be interesting? And how does clay fit in our nature theme anyways? Well, believe it or not, clay and pottery work is one of the oldest art forms that is known on our planet. And the reason it ties into our nature theme is because clay is actually produced naturally from our earth. So down in the earth's crust, there are some levels of rocks, and those get weathered over time from chemicals and water. And after a while, the erosion causes the part of the rocks to decay, and then they kind of turn into this smushy thing that looks and resembles what we know as clay. Obviously, with what we use today, it's not all completely natural, and they mix some other things in there too, especially for clay that we're going to put in like a kiln and fire up and cook that way. And its purest form, clay is natural. And so it's kind of a cool concept that we as humans are able to take something from the earth and create such beautiful work from it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I am going to tell you right now, I mentioned a kiln earlier, so firing it up. These are air dry, so they will need about 24 hours to actually dry. We don't have any paint in your bag that you could actually use to paint these, but if you wanted to after the dry, you could if you had some at home. I have 2 packs of the white clay, and I'll probably just keep it that way because I think that'll look pretty neat and pretty sharp, especially later if I decide to put something in it that's colorful. So whatever works for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our clay out. I should have brought my scissors over, but I wasn't planning on using them. Open it like that. Woo! So exciting! Who doesn't love clay? Mushy. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and start to mold that into like a circle. I'm gonna go ahead and get my other one out as well. Add a little more fun to it. Ooh, I'm stuck in there. Just gonna combine the 2, give us some more stuff to work with. And I'm just gonna kind of work that clay in my hand and get it real soft and malleable. Now, what the water's for is so you can use just a tiny bit. I just stuck my fingertip in there, and you can use that to kind of smooth out edges, to connect 2 different parts of the clay, to add any kind of decorative details and stuff like that. So as you can see, try to show you an example. If I was to take these 2 parts and then I put them back together, there are some lines there. I would take the water and I would just use that to smooth those things out. So it kind of creates a glue out of the clay to stick the clay to itself. So again, Clay is fascinating. Who knew? Just like yarn last week. All right, so for pinch pots, the basic idea is that you're using your hands to create what would be the opening of the bowl or dish or pot that you are making. And so I'm gonna take a little bit of my clay out for decorative purposes. I'll put that to the side. I just put it in my random bag. Then I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna go ahead and roll this up just like you would some kind of Play-Doh or just pizza dough until I get a shape that I'm satisfied with. Again, if you feel like it's getting dry, you can use a little water. You don't want to use too much. Create a mess. All right, and once you get a ball like that, you're actually going to start using your thumbs to push inward. All right, so right now it kind of looks like a failed donut. We don't want to go all the way through because we want ours to actually end up looking like a face. Yeah, where the hole is our mouth. And then I'm just going to use my fingers. My thumbs are in the hole, and I'm just using my fingers just smooth and stretch out to make a bigger hole. So at first I started and the hole was like the size of my thumb, which I have big thumbs, but it still wasn't a big hole. And then now I have what looks like an actual bowl. Now, how you make your face, or if you want to make your face or not, that's on you. It doesn't matter. I call it a face pinch pot because I think it's nice to have an end goal in mind. But again, as I told you guys last week, just go with it. All right. So once you get a shape of what you like, you can start kind of working on, again, we don't want to make it too thin, but we want to make sure we're using and creating a nice even width around. So my bottom is pretty thick, but not too thick. And then I have that. All right. So now this looks like a bowl. And now from here, you can do whatever you'd like with it. So like I said, it doesn't have to be a face. I'm gonna do a face because I think they look really cool using the opening as the mouth. The reason you have your random bag is you can put in some kind of texture. So I'll show you with my eyes in a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a rounded ball for one of my eyes. Ooh. And then I have a button in here, and I think the button would actually create a really cool texture for the eye. So again, we're not using these permanently. We're just kind of using them as imprints. Ooh, actually it kind of looks like a nose. Maybe I'll do that instead. So as you can see, I know it's kind of hard with the light in here and the color, but I took my button and I just pressed it down and it gave me four little nubs. So maybe I'll make like a little piggy. And remember, if you don't like what you came up with, you can always go back and just keep rolling and redo it. You have some time before it starts to actually harden. And then again, you know, I have like a lid in here I could use with the little lines. That's why I told you to keep your pencils out if you want to use the tip to kind of draw out some stuff. Again, just using those things to give you some kind of texture. You have popsicle sticks as well. And again, since we're using these not permanently, then we can have these to use later for later projects as well. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. All right, I'm gonna make my eyes a little smaller because the nose is pretty big. And I'm going to use my pencil to make the eyes. I kind of wish I had other things to use too. Like a fork would be good. If you have one of those at home, a plastic fork, you can kind of give some eyebrows or eyelashes, some hair texture. I'm actually gonna use my ooh, I like that actually better than my actual nose. We're gonna turn that into an eye. And again, once you place things on there, that's where the water comes in handy, because I can actually take the crease made from putting this eye on there and just slightly rub it with the water back and forth, because that way takes away that seam, so it looks like it's actually a part of the original thing. And looks like my bowl is actually turning into more of a plate. And again, it's fine. I can always reshape it, use my fingers. That's what a pinch pot is all about. I got this eye in here. Ooh, mine's kind of creepy. I thought it was gonna be a cute little piggy, but apparently I have a lot more going on here. Since these are air dry, you can't use real plants, but I've seen people use like fake plants in there. So, I mean, you could put it as like a jewelry dish if you want to give it to a parent for a ring or something, or a sister or grandma, whoever. That you can use it as decoration, so it'll be decorative. I know I have one from a long time ago that I made that my mom still uses. It's just a piece of art that she has on our family desk next to the telephone. Back when people had house phones. Not that old. And again, if yours starts to get a little dry, you can always add some water to help you out. Using our fingers to pinch the sides. I had to redo mine a little bit because it started to fall. I didn't make the walls thick enough. And now let's see. I'm gonna create some lips and some eyelashes. Use that pencil to create a little dip for the lip. Water. I'm gonna create some eyelashes. I think that'll look really neat. Ooh, it's gonna be like an eyebrow actually. And I am perfectly fine with that. Oh, cool. Not gonna lie, guys, pottery was always my weakness growing up, and so I'm having a blast, and that's what's important. And then from there, you kind of just do your own thing. Remember, the cool thing about pottery is that it's never necessarily too late. It's pretty forgiving. So again, obviously after 24 hours, this will harden and won't be able to move it around anymore. However, I would say in the next, at least the next few minutes, if I change my mind about anything, I can do that. So here's my completed product. It needs to dry for about 24 hours. I got my eyes. I got my eyebrows up here, which I thought were gonna be eyelashes, but hey, he's got some crazy cool ears, and then he's got a mouth. So again, pinch pots, using your hands as tools and pretty much anything else you can find. A little water, and make a pretty neat piece of art. So I am excited to see what you guys come up with. I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, be out looking for those leaves. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and I'll see you tomorrow.